Welcome to this series, Best in Class Seats. I know lots of you are new to traveling and you may wonder which seat is the best one for me. Well, there's some general guidelines and rules I follow as one who has traveled so many flights across the world, short flights, long flights, 18-hour flights, one of the longest flights that exists. I have flown, so I'll give you a little bit of my experience when you're choosing seats. So right off the bat, if you have an airline like this, if you have an opportunity to sit in a seat that is close to the exit row and it's a short haul flight and you don't have a whole lot of luggage, which means you could put things overhead easily, then I would choose one of these. As you can see in this map, being in front is not always the best. And there's a reason why this plane that we're looking at is the Airbus 320, but you can use this as a rule of thumb, right? As much as possible, I try my best to sit close to either the front where I can get more legroom. The only problem here is there's no storage, so you're probably better off traveling with a little bag that you know you can conveniently put overhead. But if you're traveling with a big case and you don't have any special flight memberships, such as gold, silver, bronze with BA and the other airlines, then you may be boarding later, which means your luggage may be forced to go outside and not go with you. They may take your luggage and give it back to you at the end of the flight. So you don't want that. You do want to go with your luggage. So if I have a lot of luggage, this could be a risky one to go with, except your gold, silver, or bronze, and the likelihood of you getting there early is higher. The next alternative, if I'm not sitting up front here, then I'm going to look for one that is as close to the front as possible, but I would want an aisle seat. The reason why I like aisle seats, if it's over 1.5 hours long, then I may want to get up and stretch my legs for circulation purposes. So I don't want to have to jump over people or be right at the window and have to ask. Except it's a 1 hour, 1.5 hour, 2 hour flight. I could maybe bear it, but if it's more than 2 hours, I want to be in the aisle seat. I'll give up the window seat for the aisle seat, which is why I like this would be my ideal seat on any plane, either a C or a D if I had to go economy. And this is just a rule of thumb I follow. If I am not able to get any of those seats, then I will look at an exit row seat such as this. And if I don't have a whole lot of luggage, I'll go with one of those. Now, let's say I'm going with a different kind of flight, like one that I recently took. This one. So if I'm going with this, you have more options. You could fly business class or Club World, as BA call it, or you could fly World Traveler Plus, which is a cut above economy, so to speak, or you could just settle for economy. Now, if I am going with business class, I am still very selective about which seat I would choose. You have to be selective and do some research because not every business class seat is as good as the best ones. When I'm flying Qantas, I know which one to go with. It's like 7. That's like the best. Here, it's different, so you have to research these things. This is good because this has a couple of windows, has 2 windows, which is different from others, so you have to do your research to know. So I would prefer, having a couple of windows isn't bad. Otherwise, if I am forced to sit in one, which is very near the galley and near the lavatory, not ideal, just, because of noise. And if it's a long haul flight, like a 10, 12, 14, 16-hour flight, it's not really the best. So I prefer somewhere like this. What I like about these club seats or business class and other planes is you sometimes have a sliding door to close the suite shut. Like you don't want to be disturbed for additional privacy, which is good. Again, this is the Airbus 350-1000. And then also beware of these other seats, which are also in business, but they're near the lavatory again, row 15. So I do my best to avoid those troublesome ones. Now, if I'm going World Traveler Plus or economy, premium economy as they call it on some flights, then I would do my best to get the front. The reason is these others in any premium economy, on many of the planes, they're no fun when people choose to recline all the way back. So even if you're in premium economy and someone decides to make your life miserable by reclining all the way back, it could be quite annoying, which is why I normally would go with 20 if I'm going to World Traveler Plus. Otherwise, I would just settle for World Traveler or economy, depending on which flight you're going with. American Airlines planes are different, but if I was going with this one from BA, A is my preferred seat, 30A or 30K with this World Traveler. I try to avoid H and C because they're a little bit problematic in that you have to put away your TV screen, take off and landing, and then the only difference is they can kind of scoot past you, A and B, K and J to go out, but it wouldn't be the first one I would choose. If push came to shove, this is better in my mind than any of the others because I wouldn't be as disturbed if J or K needed to go out. They can kind of scoot past. 41 is an interesting one because this is behind the plane, go into the last cabin here. But the cool thing is you've got as much legroom as these folks over here. So if these fail, then that. And if you are a member of the executive club, then you've got the ability to choose your seats in advance, which is cool. And then those at the back, just avoid because they don't recline. If you're traveling with a party, my suggestion is just pay a little extra to get your seats ahead of time. It pays, it reduces stress, and it makes traveling more bearable. That would be my suggestion. Okay, well, that's about it. As far as the British Airways flights and Airbus. Now, if we look at some of the more common Boeing ones, it really makes no difference just overall. If you just follow my rule of thumb, let's go to the 787-9. So again, the same philosophy. If you can go with the top, with first, you're willing to pay some tens of thousands of dollars, go with first, or little under 10,000 or in that wheelhouse, go with club. Or if you are forced to go with Traveler World Plus, then I would choose again anything in front because of the legroom, right? Doesn't have storage, but the legroom could be good, and just be aware of the back. Now, for those who are traveling on other flights, let's pull up American. Let's see if I can pull up American for you. So, American. And the planes, being that they are in the One World Alliance as well, they have planes that are kind of similar. They got a 789. Let's take a look at their 330. So again, taking a look at 330, you can see that the business class has its good and bad seats only due to the proximity to the galley and the lavatory. So you'd be better off going with something in the middle there. Premium economy, this is flagged because it is close to the lavatory, even though you got that extra legroom, right? A little bit of extra legroom, which they don't make a whole lot of noise about in this one. The main cabin, you got a little bit of legroom here, but again, the storage could be problematic. And some of these they make available for an additional cost. Sometimes it pays to get it. if you don't belong to the One World Club. And just beware of sitting at the back, sitting at the window if you know that you need to stretch and move around for circulation. I think the older one gets, the more one needs to move around for circulation. All right, let's take a look at one that we haven't really seen very much of. The 737. Let's take a look at it real quick. So again, here we have first, this is a popular plane for some flights within the United States. These are all good, even though these are flagged as yellow. It's okay. You don't have storage, but they're quite good at helping you with your storage, to be honest. 7 is good for legroom. So if I'm not flying in first, and I've got this cabin extra, this is a good alternative as well. This one is not a good option. They normally would tell you why, but I don't have the rationale here. And then the common ones that you would go for if you're not able to get front for the extra legroom would be the exit row seat. The only thing is there's no storage. And that's it. So those are my philosophies. If you're traveling a very long flight, it behooves you to go with the highest class possible if you're able. If you're not able to do that and you have to go with like a main cabin, make sure you choose either the front. Don't choose a middle seat because your life could be very miserable. Try to choose either a window or an aisle. I have only flown with a middle seat in the past 20 years, maybe twice. I do everything possible to avoid a middle seat where I do have to travel in a main cabin. So if that fails and you're not able to get like the front, just go with the exit and avoid the back. All right. I hope this gave you some ideas on how to choose your seats. If there's a particular flight that you're looking for, you want me to go over, let me know and I will cover it. Bon voyage.